this kind of is a secret of the 8-figure plus businesses. This is the stuff that you probably aren't hearing in your normal communities. They're not talking about the fact that on these big days, those 8-figure stores are doing all of this. They're pulling all of this down to make things run as smoothly as possible. So if you're not, you are at a disadvantage. And don't wait. If you haven't had this problem before, don't wait for it to become a problem to then say, I need to do this, because at that point, you've already lost a lot of money and you're going to be really upset. It's simple enough to just do some of these things. It can take a couple of days, and it will save you a lot of money.
Q4 is the busiest time of year for e-commerce brands. And if there's one thing that rings true year in and year out, so you have to get your shoppers' attention quickly. SMS makes it easier than ever to connect with customers through their phones. Trusted by brands like Brooklinen, Native, FanJoy, and more, Postscript is the go-to text message marketing platform for brands on Shopify and Shopify Plus. Learn more and get started with a free 30-day trial at postscript.io. Welcome to another week's episode of the Messenger Mastermind Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jeremy Horowitz, and today I'm joined by my incredible co-hosts, Ben Vandal and Mark Ruda, and we're going to get you a quick hitting episode. We know that BFCM is upon us. We are in it to win it. So let's dive right in. Ben, what is your top tip for somebody to deploy this week to make the most out of the holiday season?
Yeah, it's the best time of year, and I give this tip every single year. I think it's the most overlooked thing that people do, but it really is just focusing on retooling your fundamentals, going back through everything that you do that you might see on your site and take for granted with a fine-tooth comb. That is your email capture or whatever opt-in you have on site. Test it, make sure it's working, make sure it's optimized and fully ready to roll. Go through your welcome series. There will be more people joining your list during this time than any other time of the year. Go through every welcome series email with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure the language is timely, it's up to date, it affects all of your most current offers, and just test everything that you can. Your add to cart, your upsells, have everything ready to go, because you are about to experience the most high traffic you can throughout the year, and this is putting your best foot forward. So I suggest doing those things. And then my 1B that I will add, that I didn't plan on doing this, but really just taking advantage of your best offer, making sure your best offer is the thing that people see most, because that'll bring people in the door. And, that's a doorbuster deal that you see at any big retailer going into Black Friday. So those two things, focus on your fundamentals and focus on your best offer, and you're going to have a great holiday season.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's so many things. You got the long checklist. You've been running around for probably it feels like 6 months, whether it was or not at this point, that it's so important that all your money makers, all your fundamentals are super dialed in. So Mark, I know that not quite the same idea, but a similar theme. That's your top tip as well.
Yeah, it is along the same line as what Ben's referring to. So I guess I'm piggybacking off of his, and I'm kind of stealing his thing. This thing called the clean theme, thought up by Ben here, trademark, look it up, not really. Basically what this is if you've ever experienced high volume traffic on your site, hopefully you have not come up against particular issues with site crashing or bugs that are being triggered by high volume. And even if you haven't, just having a slowed down site because of the amount of people on site can certainly affect what's going on your site as far as people actually making it to checkout and completing that purchase. So when we say clean theme, this is something that you're doing specifically for when you know your highest traffic is going to happen. You're going to clean up all the things on your site to make sure that things are going to run as smoothly as possible, as quickly as possible. Having a customer go through and have a good experience based off of load times and lack of issues is massively different from a customer having things not load fully, lose things, have different glitches that you might not even fully be aware of. That is an absolutely horrible experience, and your competitors are going to be doing better than you are with that. So clean theme would mean things like removing apps that you're not fully relying on. This is probably a good time to maybe just kind of do like an inventory check on what apps you still are using versus ones that have just been sitting there for the last year or 2 years or longer that maybe you're not quite using anymore, remove them. If you don't need them, get rid of them. I'll even go a step further. If there are apps that you are using, but let's say don't necessarily need, might be a good idea to turn those off during absolute peak times. My example for that would be a live chat. I very much love live chat. It is super important to help conversions and to keep customers with the information that they need to know from your support. But if we're talking at, let's say, a day or a few hour span where you're going to have a ton of people on site, pulling that live chat off can help a ton of load. It is one of the most highest loading things to have that, live chat pop up and like ask a question. At minimum, you can leave the live chat up, but maybe remove the ability of it to pop up and kind of interfere with the experience, because that will slow a lot down. Another thing you can do along the same lines as removing apps is removing old code that those apps maybe put in. So over the years, different apps that you add are going to be inserting code into your theme. And when you remove those apps, that code doesn't always go away. So we refer to them as barnacles, basically, that just kind of stick around. You forget about them, but they are slowing things down. So you can use different tools to basically check out what is loading on your site at different times. And you'll specifically see the names like, oh, I no longer use this app, but look at this. There's still code coming through for this. That needs to go. You can go and find a pretty cheap developer to just go through and remove stuff like that. If you're able to tell them specifically what to remove, they will be able to remove it. And there are several others, but I'll say the last one that I think is a really big deal for the clean theme is to remove unnecessary photos. Obviously, you can compress them to not have as big of a load, but at the end of the day, just like completely removing them is a really good idea, whether that's unnecessary things on your homepage that don't really need to be there, or let's say image carousels on your product page. If you know that you have some hot products that everyone on your site is all going to be loading this same product, and you have 15 different photos in your photo carousel, I'll definitely be the first one to say like those photos are important to show off different things. But during those really peak times, it's more important for your site to be loading well and fast than it is to show 15 different photos. If you can drop those 15 down to 3, you're going to be running a lot better.
Yeah, an amazing description, an amazing tip. And I think once you start learning about how your site loads, I think that was the most eye-opening thing. And this is going to be really tough for a lot of store owners too, because this is one of the things we talk about when the artist meets the marketer. And a lot of times with like your homepage and things like that and your theme, the artist always wins out because it is that feel of what you want your site to look like, what you're about, right? But the most important thing on Black Friday and game day is functionality. So taking off things like that, any banners you can. I don't think people understand that when you have like the feature on your site of your mouse hovers over something and it loads a second image, that's all extra load on your site. You can remove that. Any newsletter opt-ins on your site that are there, those take a ton of load time. Remove those. People are coming in and out the door. They want to shop fast. Remove all ancillary things off your site for at least a couple hours for when your sale starts or whenever you're expecting your biggest traffic spike, and kind of doing research on how your site loads and what's loading first, what's loading second, because all these apps, they will just rip you to shreds with API pings because they're trying to pull information, and you're the one that really needs the information to function, as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing that I'll add to this is like, this kind of is a secret of the 8-figure plus businesses. This is the stuff that you probably aren't hearing in your normal communities. They're not talking about the fact that on these big days, those 8-figure stores are doing all of this. They're pulling all of this down to make things run as smoothly as possible. So if you're not, you are at a disadvantage. And don't wait. If you haven't had this problem before, don't wait for it to become a problem to then say, I need to do this, because at that point, you've already lost a lot of money and you're going to be really upset. It's simple enough to just do some of these things. It can take a couple of days, and it will save you a lot of money.
Speed is definitely the name of the game at this point in time. And keeping your site as light as possible is how you're really going to win, because it is all about load time. People are going to be on their phone. They're going to be jumping back and forth. They're going to be not doing 9 million things. So the faster you can get them to where they need to be, the more money that's going to end in your pocket. My one tip is a little bit more post-purchase. So really resegmenting everybody who buys during your big promo. And instead of just excluding them, which I think is pretty standard, right? Like you don't want to hit people a lot with the same promos that you've already hit them with. Segment all those people out and automate a second promotion for all of your holiday purchasers. These are honestly going to be the layups of sales. Really monetize the buyer high, really keep it simple. Somebody who just bought, it's very simple, like we've talked about before, whether they bought for their friends originally and now they want to treat yourself, whether they got to treat yourself first and now they want to buy for friends. Keep it super simple, super straightforward. Think of a slightly different, slightly better promotion that you offered the first time. Offer it again and make it very clear in the SMS, in the email, that they're getting it because they bought. Using that as the hook, making it very contextual to, hey, we know you just bought this. We want to thank you for being a great customer. Because of that, here's the second promotion that only you are going to get during this holiday season. The natural urgency of the time frame is going to play into it. I've seen brands do this immediately following, like within the same day as their first purchase. I've seen brands wait a week or two and then have kind of that last ditch. Here's a great offer because we really enjoy, like we really want to thank you. And just making it feel like they're a part of your success, that they're getting it because they unlocked something special. So simple, and it's just a pure moneymaker that also you can really track the promotion over how your BFCM is performing. You can go deeper, more aggressive. If you didn't have the sales you wanted, you can pull back and just go for the volume and save a little bit of profit if you did hit your numbers. There's a lot of ways to just add a lot to the top and bottom line really easily through this by just even getting 50%, 100% more revenue from every customer that comes through the door.
Yeah, I think what this really comes down to at its basic form is just putting out that offer, making that ask, sending out that message in any form. We know that if you do that, a percentage of people are going to take it, 10% of people, whatever. If you don't do that, they're not going to buy. So by just doing that ask, especially because of the fact that this is a person who previously bought from you, you are going to bring a lot more back than for someone who hasn't already bought. So, I mean, you can send it, you can not send it, but one will bring in sales and one won't.
Yeah, definitely. And don't be concerned about being too aggressive at this time of the year. You built up all that goodwill, you put in all the work, you delivered great product, you threw out a lot of content. Like, this is your time to shine. Go through all of the steps. Make sure that everything is working. Make sure your money makers are pure and clean. Make sure you got a clean theme. Everything is running really smoothly. Everything is optimized for that sale. And then just keep putting those offers in front of people. You will be shocked by how many people will continue to take that offer the more times that you present them. And it just is how you're going to be the most efficient from your marketing. So we want to keep this short and sweet. We know you have a lot to do. I know we gave you 3 very high value, but maybe take some time. So really, like, just cut the episode now, go deploy these things, and let's have an awesome BFCM, everybody. Thanks for listening to another week's episode of the Messenger Mastermind podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with another e-commerce marketer. And always let us know what you think down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If you're looking for cutting edge tactics and the resources that we rely on to run our businesses, sign up for our newsletter. We'll include a link down below. As always, stay confident, connect with your customers, and keep crushing it.